You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. How we doing? How we doing? Hope everybody's doing well. I want to tell you, Caitlin Clark will be a runaway winner with the MVP award in the WNBA. I repeat, Caitlin Clark will be a runaway winner in the WNBA season 2025. Let me tell you why. Caitlin Clark should have won this award last year. Started digging into it and tried to figure out why. Why didn't she win the award? Folks, shockingly to me, based upon the discovery, the last 10 years, the MVP has been awarded to a particular group of players. And let me tell you who they are, right? So I really want you to get it. You got Ellen Del Donne, forward. You got Enike Gumake, forward. Sylvia Fowles, center. Brianna Stewart, forward. You got Danye again, forward. You got Asia Wilson, center. You got Jacquel Jones, forward. You got Asia Wilson, center. You got Brianna Stewart, forward. And then you got Asia Wilson, center. Caitlin Clark's going to be the runaway winner with the MVP award. Here's what I discovered. All these years in the last 10 years, how is it possible? And this is Money Mike, and I've already shared with everyone what my position is on point guards and how I feel. How is it possible that a point guard in the WNBA has not won the MVP award? I would almost consider that impossible because every team that has a WNBA championship, they have to have the WNBA point guard to lead them there. You can't go there. Now, what the WNBA has done is fallen in the trap of what the NBA has done, right? I mean, it's a league killer, and you can't make any money when you do it this way. And this is why Caitlin Clark will be the runaway winner in the WNBA. Point guards are what market the league. Point guards are what make the NBA successful. Point guards are what make the WNBA successful and make the money that you need to make. Caitlin Clark is the player that makes the money for the WNBA. Caitlin Clark is a point guard. I just gave you a list of forwards and centers that the WNBA has given the MVP award to. Now, if they did it correctly last year, Caitlin Clark would have won the MVP award hands down. Now, the predetermined selection, and no offense to Asia Wilson, but you don't make any money in the WNBA giving Asia Wilson the MVP. You make money in the NBA and the WNBA when you give the point guard the MVP. Derrick Rose was a rookie. Came into Chicago Bulls, blitzed and torched the league just like Caitlin Clark. Almost identical, right? Derrick Rose was Rookie of the Year and MVP of the NBA. The NBA was at the height of success. You make money when point guards are. But here's the confusion that I have, and I'm overly concerned, right? Because not one point guard in the last 10 years has won the MVP. In fact, if you want to put it out there, Asia Wilson is a slight favorite, but that's not going to last because now the point guards are what run the NBA, and the point guards are what run the WNBA, right? So you got Caitlin Clark, you got Chelsea Gray, right? That's who needs to be MVPs. You come in here and you got an SQ. You better start making these point guards MVPs of the WNBA because you're not going to make any money on the forwards and centers. And you can go Embiid, you can go into the Joker with you can go back and forth. You're not going to make any money on the big man being the MVP, right? You're not going to make any money on a post player or forward being the MVP. And when you haven't given this award to a guard in the last 10 years, folks, take a hard look at that. How in the world can you have 10 WNBA championships given out and not one MVP has been given to the point guard? The point guard is the most valuable position. The point guard is the one that coaches the team on the floor. The point guard, the majority of time, is the MVP. If you've got the best point guard, then you can win the actual championship, right? There's no doubt about it. So when you look at teams who actually went in there and win the championship, chances are they got a darn good point guard. And no matter how good Shaq was, I mean, Shaq was a great player. Shaq was saying even better than Asia Wilson if you go side by side. But at the end of the day, Kobe's the MVP. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Caitlin Clark is going to be a runaway. Caitlin Clark should have won the award last year, hands down. The only problem with Caitlin Clark not winning the WNBA MVP is they slotted in for forwards and centers. That's what the WNBA has slotted as MVPs. So when Caitlin came out making all these three-pointers, they hadn't recognized all those three-pointers in the last 10 years. And they stubbornly stood in front of us and regretted to honor somebody who came into the WNBA and has done things that haven't been done before, right? The player comes in, Caitlin Clark out of Iowa. And this is Money Mike. I'm giving it to you. Okay, this is my opinion, but when I dig into the facts, nobody's going to tell me in the last 10 years, and I'm a rookie, came off my rookie year coming in covering the WNBA, but now I'm going into my second year, and I'm wondering how in the world can you have 10 straight years and not one point guard is the MVP? And that's why the shooting was so bad, right? The WNBA couldn't shoot. It's going to improve. So when Caitlin Clark came in, right, and broke the assist record, point guard never, ever had received an MVP award. It was already going to Asia Wilson for points. It didn't really matter when Caitlin Clark came in and broke all the records and everything she did, because here was the defiant moment. The point guard had never, ever been considered for an MVP award in the last 10 years. How do you make money off a league like that? Folks, this is interesting, but I'm glad I found it, and I told you how much I feel about point guards. So every point guard in the NBA, your WNBA, you're going to get double coverage from me, because I cannot understand. You get a player like Caitlin Clark that walks through your door, averages 19.2 points a game, 5.7 rebounds a game, 8.4 assists, 1.3 steals, and is not the MVP of the WNBA. Now I see why. Okay? And when I go back to the WNBA, all the people, right, who are in the WNBA, and here's how it spreads out, so I really want you to understand as it breaks down, and you read the report, right? So here's a report. Favored to win the WNBA award in 225. Caitlin Clark's going to win this award, but they got Asia Wilson as a favorite. Asia Wilson is not the favorite of the WNBA MVP. It's Caitlin Clark. And if anybody can't see that, they're basically blind, because Caitlin Clark is the MVP of the WNBA. After discovering and going in and doing the R&D and discovering you haven't given the MVP in the last 10 years to a point guard. So that means 10 WNBA championship point guards never got acknowledged. That's not a good thing, and that's why Caitlin was treated the way she was. Okay, but let's read about it. Favored to win the WNBA, this comes out from Covers. Asia Wilson was named 2024 MVP in a unanimous fashion. How in the world could that happen, folks? How in the world can Caitlin have a year like Caitlin had and Asia win the unanimous MVP? This is where I talk about when you have a league of equity. When I talk about equity in my world, I'm talking about fairness. Okay, so this is a simple meeting for me. For a meeting like this, I'm going to call Jeff Bezos, right? I'm going to call Amazon and say, Jeff, how we doing, man? Do we need to pivot? How's our distribution? Are we hitting the numbers? No, Mike, we're not even close. Okay, who do we got slotted to move? Who's going to get the distribution? What player are we utilizing? Well, Mike, we're using the MVP of the league. Come on, guys. Come on. Let's be honest. If it's not a point guard, then you don't have anything. You make money when point guards are on top, right? All right, so Asia Wilson's going to get it unanimous, but what have you done for me lately? Joking aside, Wilson is positioned as a front runner to win again in 2025. Wilson's not going to win that award, folks, which would be her fourth. That would break her with Lisa Leslie, Swirl Swoops, Lauren Jackson for MVP wins in WNBA. See, here's what's happening, guys. Money Mike's good at this. And I tell you, when you deal in the NFL, them guys in the NFL, they're slicker than a can of oil, man. They know how to really spin you around the block, right? But when you start digging in and it don't all match up, right? So when I cover the league, if the general manager makes a statement and the head coach make a statement, they don't match up, then I know there's problems. I can go to the D coordinator and the O coordinator. If they don't match up, then I know there's problems, right? This doesn't match up, right? Because now we're trying to break a record for Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoops, and Lauren Jackson for most MVP. So the whole thing about giving it to A'ja Wilson is to break a record. It's not about being the best player. It's just you're going to break a record, right? So Wilson has been clockwork, but she hasn't won back-to-back trophies despite winning 3 of the last 5, and she will face stiff competition in the race, granted if she plays like she did in 2024. 26.9 points, 11.9 rebounds, 2.6 blocks, 34 minutes. No one will touch her. That's the opening statement, right? So here's the deal. You get someone like Caitlin Clark, takes the Indiana Fever, who haven't been in the playoffs in 7 years or however long it's been. She takes you to the playoff. Derrick Rose did that and got MVP, Rookie of the Year, and MVP of the NBA. Right, coming out of Chicago. I mean, he blitzed the NBA and they respected it, right? So here we go. Then you go back, well, who's the second runner behind A'ja? This is why I know Caitlin's going to win. It's impossible for A'ja to win this. And here's Caitlin Clark, they call it, and here's the rub. You know, I like those rubs. You got to rub that screen, right? Wilson is unreal talent on both ends, but year 2 of Caitlin experience could provide her with a serious rival and challenge her to her throne atop the WNBA. Well, Caitlin Clark is not challenging A'ja Wilson, right? Let's be honest about that. There's no challenge here. What is really happening here is Caitlin is coming back to get an award she should have got last year and didn't get the award. Clark, highly anticipated, publicized rookie season, started shaky, but she and the Indiana Fever rounded into form. She won WNBA Rookie of the Year and finished 4th in MVP voting after averaging 19.2, 5.7, 8.4 assists, 1.3 steals, 35 minutes across the board in 40 games. Expect her to be even sharper and more confident. Well, she doesn't need to get any sharper. She was sharp enough last year. Caitlin Clark should have got the MVP. If you're telling me that centers and forwards, that's the only thing, not one point guard has been honored in the last 10 years, that's the wrong move. That's got to change. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. All things are possible to those who believe. And I tell you something right now, I believe Caitlin Clark's going to be a runaway. Should have won the award last year. But the problem is they never recognized guards in the WNBA. That's got to change. Kathy Engelbert, you want to make money in the WNBA? Jeff Bezos wants to make money. You got to get Caitlin Clark shoes, and you got to get your point guards leading the league. And the WNBA, to make money, has to start and begin marketing point guards. The big men are great, but the big men do not make as much fans come to the game, and they don't sell as many shoes, and they don't sell as much merchandise as point guards. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We are coming to you, Too Hot Media, Too Hot Radio. We're coming under the umbrella of Rock Nation Sports, and folks, I'm here to tell you, the WNBA just has to make a few changes. Caitlin Clark will be the runaway MVP, hands down, and I think the WNBA will finally realize that a point guard can now be championed as the face of the WNBA and the face of the league. In the last 10 years, it should have been done, and it wasn't. But I always tell you, if you believe, things can change. Money Mike believes in point guards in the WNBA, and I believe we're going to see Caitlin Clark as a runaway MVP of the Women's National Basketball Association. All things are possible to those who believe. We'll see you soon.